back. You're back. Hey, we back. Welcome everyone to this episode on the Ultimate Sports TV, guys. Yes, football is back. Finally, Thursday night, Bucs versus Cowboys. Can't wait for that game. Can't wait to get the season kicked off with a full slate of Sunday games and Raiders versus Ravens on Monday Night Football, everyone. Leading up to Thursday, it's obviously prediction week. We got to get our NFL 2021 season predictions in. I've already done my AFC playoff and record predictions. Go check those videos out. In this video, I'll be doing my NFC playoff and record predictions, everyone. Before I get into this, I want to make sure you subscribe to the Ultimate Sports TV. Like this video for me, share this video and YouTube channel. Then comment down below who you think will make the playoffs in the NFC this year and who will have the best record in the NFC this year, everyone. But now let's hop into this. Here are my NFC record predictions for 2021. Now, when we're looking at the NFC North, I got the Packers at 12-5, 10-7 Vikings, 7-10 Bears, and the 4-12 Lions. In the NFC South, I got 13-4 Bucs. I got the 9-8 Saints. I got the 8-9 Panthers. I got the 6-11 Falcons, and I got over in the NFC West, the 12-5 Rams winning that division, the 11-6 San Francisco 49ers, the 10-7 Seahawks, the 9-8 Cardinals, and then in the NFC East, we got the 10-7 Washington football team, the 10-7 Dallas Cowboys, the 8-9 New York Giants, and then the 5-12 Philadelphia Eagles. Now, when we're looking at some notable teams here, starting off with the NFC North, the Packers, I got a 12-5. I think pressure, can they get pressure on the quarterback on defense? That's a little bit of a question for me. Can they do it consistently? You know they're capable of doing it, but can they do it consistently? I do expect them to be a bit better at it this year. Their secondary is going to be one of the best in the league once again, and that offense is going to be good once again. They added some receivers to that receiving core. You already have Alan Lazard. You have Marquise Valdes-Scantling, you added Amari Rodgers, and you added Randall Cobb, who has chemistry with Aaron Rodgers, and you already have Robert Tonyan and Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon. So I like that Packers offense. The offensive line does scare me protecting Aaron Rodgers. I don't think they'll have the best record in the NFC because I do think at times that offensive line could complicate their offense, but I do like the Packers at 12-5 to be one of the best teams in the NFC. At 10-7 with the Vikings, their defense got better. It's not going to be as bad as last year. I say their offensive line got a teensy bit better. I don't think it's going to be one of the best in the league, but I don't think it's going to be bad. And I think Dalvin Cook will be good enough to run behind it. He's going to be one of the best running backs in the league again. They have one of the best receiving duos in the league. I think ultimately that's going to make Kirk Cousins better. They're going to get back to running their formula of running the ball, but also getting back to that play action pass smoothly this year. The Bears at 7-10. Now look, I'm a big believer in Justin Fields, but if the Bears are that committed to Andy Dalton, it doesn't make me optimistic. You see, they have a game versus the Rams. I don't see Andy Dalton doing good in that game, but then he'll start again in week 2 and versus the Bengals, and they'll give him a little optimism. Then they're going to play him versus the Browns in week 3. They're going to upset him, and then I think Andy Dalton could be in there for at least 4 weeks. Then they go ahead and put Justin Fields in. Early, I think Justin Fields could work out, but ultimately, I don't like that Bears offensive line. The secondary is questionable for me, and as in terms of offensive line, I really think it could disrupt their offense. Justin Fields, later in the year, as they get more film on him, it's going to be hard for that offense to succeed when they don't have an offensive line and don't have a secondary to get that defense off the field and the offense on the field quickly. And then the Lions at 4-12. Look, new quarterback, new coach. They're going to struggle in the beginning of the year. Their offense doesn't have much on it. Their defensive secondary and really front seven aren't looking the best. I just don't think the Lions are really great cohesive unit on the offensive or defensive side of the ball, as they will show this year. I have them at 4-12. The 13-4 Bucs, look, they're in the second year of the system with Tom Brady. I only foresee them to get better, and they're going to try and repeat as the Super Bowl champs. Who's the biggest threat to the Bucs? I would say that's the Rams here at 12-5. When we're looking at the Saints, They could possibly get into the playoffs. I have them at 9-8. Jameis Winston will really be helped by Sean Payton's coaching, that offensive line, and Alvin Kamara and Michael Thomas when he comes back. But in the beginning of the season, can the Saints have downfield success moving the ball downfield when they don't have a star receiver like Michael Thomas, and they really don't have receiver depth other than him when Michael Thomas is gone? So that's my concern with the Saints. But ultimately, defense, coaching, and Alvin Kamara is going to get the Saints into a kind of a playoff push, but also have them over 500. At 8-9, I think the Panthers could come close to the playoffs. But ultimately, I just think at this point they're too young. I think next year is the year. Their offensive line kind of concerns me. But I do think their defense could surprise a lot of people. It's just that the Saints and the Bucs are in their division, and then you got other teams in the NFC. The Falcons, for me, at 6-11, their defense is just going to let them down. Their offensive line is going to let them down. I think Arthur Smith is going to be a great coach, and I think Matt Ryan fits the scheme of what Arthur Smith wants to do. And they have good pieces on that offense with Kyle Pitts, Calvin Ridley, Hayden Hurst, Mike Davis. But ultimately, offensive line is going to mess everything up, and so is the defense. So I have the Falcons at 6-11, and those things are very big deals, and you're going to have to adjust to coaching at the beginning of the year because you're in a new system. In the NFC West, it's going to be a hard-fought division. I don't think anyone's going to be below 500 barring any injury. I have the LA Rams winning this division. I think they could have maybe 1-2 of their losses in the beginning of the season, but then for the rest of the season when Matthew Stafford gets into that system, and I think that'll happen quickly, I think it'll be smooth sailing for them. I think this year with Tony Michel and Darrell Henderson, they're two backs that have trouble with injuries, but neither of them this year have to be that bona fide number one back who is going to have to get a load of carries in an offense that likes to run the football and run the football efficiently. I think both of these two guys are skilled, and I expected both of them to have two great seasons before they got on the same team. Now, both of them, I think it could be one of the best running back committees in the NFL with the offensive line. And I think the passing game will be so good with Matthew Stafford and everyone else that it could open up ways for the run game for the LA Rams. So I think that's a big part for them. And Matthew Stafford, he has the best weapons of his career. He has the best coach of his career. He has the best defense of his career. Look, he's had MVP caliber seasons when he hasn't necessarily had the best situations. I only foresee Matthew Stafford to get better this year. The 49ers are going to get back to where they were a few years ago. They're going to stick to their system. They're going to have a good defense, and I like Brandon Ayuk added. You're getting Deebo Samuel back. You're getting George Kittle back. Still one of the best offensive lines in the league. Raheem Mostert, Trey Sermon, your running backs. The Seattle Seahawks are a team that I think could possibly regress just because of their defense. I still do not like their defense. They can generate pass rush, and it doesn't help that your secondary won't give you time either because that secondary still certainly needs work, and I don't foresee it getting better from last year. But the Seahawks offense will carry them, and when you have Russell Wilson, a coach and Pete Carroll, when you have a mediocre offensive line, Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf, Chris Carson, I do like what I see for the offense to really carry the Seattle Seahawks team. The Cardinals at 9-8, I think they could possibly fall short of the playoffs just because of their coach. The offense will have their ups at times, but ultimately because of coaching, they will have their downs at times. I think that defense will improve, but I think it could be inconsistent just because of some minor holes at linebacker. In the secondary, I think I could see inconsistencies from streaky and inconsistent players like Byron Murphy or any other player in that secondary. Look, offensive line got better. I think the Cardinals will be very close to the playoffs. I just think coaching could hold them back. The Washington football team at 10-7 for me, they could possibly even be an 11-6 team. I think they're going to surprise a lot of people this year. The defense is going to be the best in the league for the Washington football team. Ryan Fitzpatrick led the Dolphins to 10 wins last year, and I think he arguably has better weapons around him this year. Look, offensive line's good. Skill position players are good. Ryan Fitzpatrick is good. Coach is good in Ron Rivera. That defense is great. I'd like the Washington football team to win the NFC East for a second straight year. At 10-7, I think the Cowboys are just due for a good season. Now, their secondary is going to have trouble covering people at times, but I do think that front seven can generate pressure, and I think that'll ultimately help the secondary at times. Now, barring injury, I do think that pass rush has the opportunity to be a top 10 pass rusher this year. And that offense is getting their offensive line pieces back. Leo Collins, they have Tyron Smith, and even though Zach Martin will miss the first game, he will be back and he will be balling for the Cowboys. That'll ultimately help the run game, but the running game will ultimately be helped with the pass game. Ezekiel Elliott will get helped by the pass game, knowing Dak Prescott is back, knowing all the pieces they have around him. And then we look at the Giants. I just think their offensive line is not going to help them. It's going to be one of the worst in the league, and you have all these weapons around Daniel Jones, but if you don't have a good offensive line, unless you're Patrick Mahomes or Lamar Jackson or Russell Wilson, I just don't foresee Daniel Jones overcoming this problem. I just don't see it. That's not good for Saquon Barkley either, because if you can't get the run game going behind a bad offensive line like the Giants, I don't think it'll be a major problem knowing Saquon is a good running back, but he is coming off of a major injury. You can't get the run game going with the quarterback like Daniel Jones. I don't really foresee the Giants having a lot of success. And then when we look at the Eagles, if they were a bit younger with their pieces on their offensive line, I'd be a bit more optimistic about them. If their secondary was a bit more stable, maybe I'd be a bit more optimistic about them. Now look, their offensive line could automatically be good. I just think that there's some old pieces on their offensive line and it could fall apart towards the middle to the end of the season. I just don't trust the Eagles. I don't think they're putting Jalen Hurts in the greatest position. I like the youth in that wide receiving room, but ultimately, new coach, a quarterback that you're really trying to figure out how to use them, and that offensive line may not be the most reliable this year. I don't think it'll be bad. I think it'll be middle of the pack, but I don't think it'll be the offensive line you essentially ask for. I got the Eagles at 5-12. I just don't think they put it together this year. I just don't think they have enough. Look, they don't even know if they're going to run the ball more or pass the ball more. I think the direction to go is run the ball. I just don't think the Eagles know what they're going to do, especially with how uncertain they are of their offensive line. Now, moving on to the playoff picture, everyone. This is my NFC playoff picture for 2021. As a first seed, I got the defending champs at 13-4. The Buccaneers are going to be the best team in the league. Tom Brady in the second year of this system with the Buccaneers. I only foresee their offense getting better. That pass rush is going to be staggering again. Now look, the secondary can bring you a little concerns, but it is good enough. It's not bad. I think it'll be middle of the pack. It is good enough. As a second seed, I see the Rams being the greatest threat to the Buccaneers in the NFC. I think they can control the ball on them, keep them off the field, because I think Darrell Henderson and Sony Michel are going to benefit from that passing game being good, that offensive line being solid, and neither one of them have to be a workhorse at running back. And that passing game can rival any passing game in the NFL, because you have Sean McVay as your head coach, because of the skill position players you have with great wide receiver depth, and because I think Matthew Stafford will just expand the playbook. We saw Jared Goff last year. We know he was not going to expand the Rams playbook. But when you go 11-5 with Jared Goff and your offense was still pretty good, and you bring in an even better quarterback in Matthew Stafford, I only see the Rams getting better because they can actually do some more things in the passing game, and Matthew Stafford can expand their playbook. As a third seed, I see the Packers here. Their defense is going to be solid again. Their offense added some pieces in the receiving core. That offensive line concerns me, and I think it could cost them some games. But the Packers, 12-5, they're the third seed. Fourth seed, Washington football team is winning the division. Love Ryan Fitzpatrick, or with all the pieces around him. That defense is going to be incredible once again. Look, Ron Rivera is going to be leading a great team. In the fifth seed, I got the San Francisco 49ers. They're going to be great again. They're going to get back to the formula they had their Super Bowl year. Look, I think that Brandon Ayuk could have a breakout year, and I think he's going to have an incredible impact on that offense, and that defense is going to be good. The Seahawks, as the 6th seed, their offense is going to carry them. I don't think their defense will be all that great. Their secondary won't help the pass rush, and the pass rush won't help the secondary. But look, I do think the Seahawks are going to have a good season, especially because their offense, they can control the ball. Can they do it consistently with their offensive line, and knowing Chris Carson has problems with injuries? But look, they can pass versus anyone, and they still have Pete Carroll coaching them. And look, I just don't see the Cowboys missing the playoffs again. Look, I think their offense is going to be a top 10 offense this year. Your offensive line is going to be better. Your pass game is going to be better with Dak, and that's going to make the run game better. I think that pass rush will be a top 10 pass rush this year. Although the secondary is not going to be one of the best again, I think the pass rush will help it out a little bit. And I think I foresee the Cowboys getting to the playoffs this year just because I see parts of their team helping out other parts of the team. The pass game will help the run game, and you know Zeke is the running back there. The offensive line is back healthy. Although Zach Martin won't be there in the first game, he will be there throughout the season. He's going to make the offensive line significantly better, and he's probably one of the best guys in the NFL to run behind. And then the pass rush is going to help the secondary. It's going to bail the secondary out at times. Now look, I think the Cowboys are going to be good, and I think they're due to get in the playoffs, everyone. These are my NFC playoff predictions here. You also heard my record predictions. You can go check that video out in a separate video. But look, guys, first seed Buccaneers, second seed LA Rams. I think they're the biggest threat to the Bucs. Third seed Packers, fourth seed football team, fifth seed 49ers, sixth seed the Seahawks, and the seventh seed I have the 10-7 Dallas Cowboys, guys. Give your opinions on that in the comment section below, everyone. Other than that, this has been Malik Hicks, aka the Ranker, the Ultimate Sports TV, signing off. Peace out, and I'll see you on the other side.